Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm Damian Hill. With me, as always, is TJ O'Connor. Tonight we have Marlin So'Icey Sims, who's coming off of a very impressive win at Grand Casino Hinckley against an opponent who had over 33 fights to his credit. Now, that's pretty impressive. Before we get into it, Trash Talk is brought to you again by Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Spartan Martial Arts, Ink Shrinks Tattoo out of New Brighton, Minnesota, Origin Wellness CBD, TJ's Mom, The Fighters, and James Clark's Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy. How you doing tonight, Marlon?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Doing good. I felt like I finally killed an intro flawlessly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nailed it. And Marlon, really appreciate you taking time to talk with us. Like Damian mentioned, coming off a big win just this last weekend, a real strong performance, outboxed a real veteran, like Damian said. How you feeling a couple days after the fight? Are you still riding that victory high, or how's everything going for you?
I am, man. It was a great victory. Like I said, I definitely gave my opponent Mike Fowler some respect because, naturally, yes, he has that 33 fights in the game. In the ring as a professional, that's experience that you just can't sit there and you can't take that for granted against nobody's record. So he didn't have the best record, but I knew that he fought a lot of tough people, and he's been a distance. He's been a distance, and that was my first time doing 6 rounds. So I wanted to make sure that I can go that distance and still put on a good performance, and I was able to do that. So yeah, I'm definitely still enjoying that victory right there.
Oh yeah. Now you mentioned going 6 rounds. Okay, was that your first? This might be a two-parter. Was that your first time going 6 rounds?
Yep, that was my first 6 round right there.
Okay. Now, I as much as I'm proud of the ring experience, getting going the distance and getting as many rounds under your belt, especially in the live situation as a pro, that's experience that can never be taken away from you. But are you a little bit disappointed that he broke your streak because I think you dropped him 2 or 3 times, and your last 2 fights were finished. You won your last 2 fights by TKO. Are you a little bit mad that he broke your streak?
You know what? I'm actually not. I really don't think too much of it. Like I might say, like, man, I'm gonna go in there and get a knockout, and it might not happen. But no, I really didn't even have no problem with it. For me, it was a mindset thing for me to go ahead and get them rounds in, especially with somebody like that. I thought he was going to do some of his veteran tactics. I was realizing it on like 4th round in. I thought that he was just going pretty easy and then, get me into the later rounds and then turn it up to a level that I probably haven't seen before is what I was thinking. So I was, that's what I was expecting, but I realized it didn't happen. But no, I didn't really mind. It didn't mind me that it went the distance. I prepared to go the distance, so I was very happy with the outcome with a unanimous decision. So it didn't bother me at all.
Well, no, that was very wise of you to say too, because I don't really have a question. I'm just kind of crediting you what you just said. Veteran status could have been drawing you into those later rounds, a place that you haven't been before, and he probably knew that going into this fight. So that very wise of you to expect that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously, as we are and as most people are, we're very high on, your talent and your future in this. So obviously there's a lot of confidence involved in that. But you mentioned cautiously going at it because you got to respect his status as a veteran in the game. And you kind of mentioned this in your last name, but when was that actual point that you realized in the fight that, okay, I can contend and I'm at a superior level at this point in my career?
That was the 4th round. The 3rd round, it was more so I was kind of thinking like, all right, is he just kind of going easy, or is it that I do have respectable power? It's not like even though I did catch him with a one punch and it dropped him, but it's not always you got to line it up pretty great and whatnot. But I was just thinking like, is it the power that making him fight different than he fought previous opponents? And but it was the 4th round for me when I realized it's not him holding back and waiting to reserve. There was nothing else that he could do at that point. And that was in the 4th round is when I realized that. And that's when the 5th round came. and I was able to drop him 2 times in that round, and pretty much, just coasted and continue to, dominate the fight. But it was the 4th round is where I realized that at.
Man, I love what you just said. You speak so articulately,
Yeah.
and I mean just so comfortably. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been in this game, and what's your background? How'd you even get into fighting?
So, man, I got into it just randomly. I've been in it. I've been from the day that I walked in the gym. It was what, August 13th, 15th, or the 18th. It's one of those 3 days. And that's the of 2013 is when I first walked in the gym. I was 21 years old and walked into Uppercut Boxing Gym, and I stuck with it, and I got into it. I moved down to Atlanta, and I used to be a valet attendant down there. So, man, I was making a lot of money off of tips and just, had a lot of money and a whole lot of free time. I'm at home and I'm just watching boxing, and I'm like, man, I can do this. Like, and I grew up and I fought in the streets and slap box growing up and all of that stuff. So it wasn't nothing that I was worried about. I knew what kind of skills and what I did possess already before even training. So I literally, it was the Mayweather and Robert Guerrero fight is the last straw. Like, when I always wanted to do it when I was younger, and it just never had the resources or, and all of that stuff. Didn't know where to go, didn't know who to talk to. And so it just never ended up coming to fruition. So, yeah, I'm down in Atlanta and I'm like watching the Mayweather and Robert Guerrero fight. And I'm like, man, I could do this. Man, I went to Walmart, just grabbed some little regular gloves and just had my brother holding his hands up at the time, just playing around. And I ended up coming back to Minnesota. And it's something I said I was going to stick with. And I walked to Uppercut Boxing Gym, and once I walked in there, it was home. And
that's beautiful.
Look at where we at now, man. The rest is history, man. You can see, man. I've been putting in work, man.
Hell yeah! Oh man, I love when you said that, because I think that's the beginning of the journey for a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
Granted, seeing fights, being around it, all inspires a lot of fighters too. But going to Walmart, buying the cheap pair of gloves, and then having your brother or your friend hold this for you, oh man,
that's a guy. That's a guy I want to go to war with right there. That's a guy who wants it.
Literally, like we'll watch a video. Like when I first started, like, to learn the technique of boxing. Anybody can get in the ring and throw, but what is the technique that's behind that? So I'll sit there, I could watch fights, and I'll sit there and watch, just random people put up, probably who never even had a fight, but they'll put up a YouTube video of how to do this, what combinations, what this jab is, what the cross is, and all of that stuff. And I'll sit there and I watch the videos, and I'm just learning, I'm just listening, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, just downloading that information. And man, I just started applying it.
Yeah. Exactly. No, exactly. It's starting, like, you hate to use the pun almost just because of how, what it turns into, but it started at the bottom, literally, you know what I mean? It's just going and doing what it takes, grinding and going. And that's that passion mixed with obvious natural ability. And then your coaching, like you mentioned, you walked into Uppercut at 21 years old. Now, traditionally in boxing, that's a late age to start as an amateur. What was the coach's initial reaction when you came into the gym telling him, "No, this is something I want to do"? And I mean, obviously, you probably had to prove it to him. But that first day, what kind of looks were you getting when you walked in there telling him you're going to be the champ?
Yeah, man, my head coach, Alfonso Vasquez, started with him every fight. Every fight. That's who I've been training with. Still train with to this day. And the main thing is, like, I knew that I would want to compete. But I didn't know how soon or, exactly what the steps was to end up doing it. It was actually him that pushed me to actually start competing. I'm in the ring, we're working, and I'm, training day in and day out and whatnot. And he seen, he was like, that's what it was, just sparring, just seeing me spar at times. And he gave it to me. It was like, you ever thought about competing? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm not sure, I want to, but at the time I'm like, I don't know, man. I didn't grow up playing any sports. I played I played a half a season of baseball in the 6th grade, and I played a half a season of football in the 7th grade. Never finished a season of either one. The only time I ever played any sports other than that. I never played sports growing up or anything. So, I always loved boxing because you once you're in that ring, it's just you and your opponent. You can't sit there and say we lost because this person missed a tackle. We lost because this dude missed a jump shot. If you lose in that ring, it's because what you did not do. So that's one thing I love, and that's where it was just Alphonse was like, man, I think that's something that we should go ahead and do, and you know what, man, I'm like, all right, if you believe it, I believe in you, you believe in me. I think we can go ahead and make it happen, man. We got the first fight scheduled. Nerves out of this world. Out of this world. I'm like, man, this stuff crazy. Like, I've been in fights before, and I'm very calm. I'm very cerebral. I could think I could be in an actual fight, and I could sit there and smile. I could laugh because, I'm calm. I'm not one of the people that sees red or just go black out. I don't think that's real power if you can't control yourself. And so I'm very calm. I'm very poised. I can sit there and think, and I was just so nervous, and I was nervous even walking up to the steps, holding the mitts, warming up and everything. And I get in the ring, and once that official bell rung, I just felt like I was in my element. I felt comfortable. I felt like, okay, once that jab was thrown, whether it was from me or the opponent, I was able to just see it like, okay. And first amateur fight, man, I got a stoppage, and I'm like, well, I like the way this feels. Man, I fell in love, and I just been at it ever since, man. Definitely.
From what you said, you seemed a little bit reluctant to start off when the coach asked you. Was it you feeling that you just weren't ready? You just didn't feel it in yourself at the time, and then after the fight, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm ready now."
It was, I truly don't. I'm not sure. I don't know if it was that or if it was just like I just never didn't know. Like I wasn't sure. That's so. Yeah, I guess so. It was just that I was unsure. Like like this is now. It's like now I'm competing, and I'm like, all right, like that's pretty much where it was. Like, okay,
it's an emotion that can't really be put into words.
No.
Yeah.
Only certain people get it, and I get it. I know what you're talking about.
We practice, during sparring and everything, but it's like for you to actually get in the ring purposely fighting at the time. I don't know what my mindset was thinking about at that time, but I was just like, I knew that I wanted to. I just didn't know when I would say, okay, it's time. So it was great that I did have him, and that was a push that I needed, or that step in the right direction to get me where I needed to go.
Hell yeah. No, I love that. And oh man, like having that it's so much better too when you have somebody else that's looking on the outside, looking at you saying like, nah, you ready. You've been ready actually. I was tell you this a few months ago, but I didn't get around to it. You ready?
Yep. Exactly. And because other than that, everybody always waiting for the perfect moment, whether it's in anything in life. You'd be like, no, I want to wait till their time is right. I want to wait till the time. The time might never feel right. It might never come. It might not be right. You got to make that time happen. That's what it is. You gotta stop waiting for it to happen, and you got to make it happen. So exactly. Definitely.
Man, I love it. I love the motivation. And speaking of making it happen, what's next for Marlin Sims? I mean, what are you going to make happen now? I mean, I know we're fresh off a win, so I don't want to look too far ahead. But what do you got in mind, man?
I jump on it right away. If it was possible, I'll fight the 25th of this Saturday. If it was possible, I'm a fighter. I come to fight. I want to fight. So I definitely was. So we got something in the mix. Can't drop anything right now, but it's gonna be a quick turnaround. And that's pretty much where we at right now. I can't drop anything yet, but it's something mix.
You're gonna have to let us know. Reach out to us and let us know because
I definitely will, man. Definitely.
We're always trying to drop exclusive fight news and the weekend updates. Now we can make that a part of that. We can. Oh, dude. Please let us know.
if you ever want to say anything, if there's anything you ever,
so it'll be it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a nice exciting news. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, man, I'm ready to fight, and that's pretty much where we at. We just gotta wait till that time to, get everything ironed out and make sure that we can, announce it and see if it's a true green light. Because nothing's official until the bell ring. That's what I say, man. Get people that to cancel a day of fight, and I've been there closest to weigh-in where I was ready to drive 3 hours out, and I get a phone call like, your opponent not coming, and then it was a whole bunch of BS. I'm like, God, on weigh-in day, I'm already down to wait, and then you get a call. Yeah, it might not happen. What? That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so heartbreaking. And the average person, they might not understand that. They could think that is a relief. Like, hey, you have to go fight a guy. Wait, now you don't have to go fight the guy. They're like, oh my God, fuck, whew. But I mean, like that feeling, especially on the day of weigh-ins.
The hard part is over. Like the in the ring is the fun part. That's the easy part. Training is so goddamn tough. Like I love it. I train at work gym. That's where the shirt is from, right here out in Hopkins. And man, the training is the hard part. I love it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship. I get there and I'm like, what type of bullshit we doing today? Like I call the whole workout done, but you love it because you come back for more. You know it's getting you better, man. It's getting you prepared.
Oh yeah. Now, with the hard work that's going into this next fight, I can't wait to see hear the fight news that you're ready to drop. I think you're leaving everybody listening, and me and TJ specifically, on our toes. Now, I think that might be a really good way to leave it, even though I'm kind of mad just sitting here in anticipation. I'm going to be sitting next to my phone waiting for you to let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up tonight, is there any sponsors or teammates you'd like to shout out? Anybody outside of the gym that's been showing you some extra support that you'd like to shout out as well?
Yeah, man, I definitely want to give a shout out to, the sparring partners that I've been having, people that I've been in a ring with in the amateurs, and still sharing a ring with Joe the Sniper James. I'm sure y'all familiar with Joe James. He definitely he's that's one of my buddies. We help get each other ready for some of these fights, and whether I go up there or he come down to the city, he's out in St. Cloud, and definitely love what he doing. He's we're both on the train rolling together, man. We both 7-0, both got 4 knockouts, and we just man, we gonna be forces to reckon with. Like we coming for everything, definitely.
That's awesome.
So definitely, I always want to show love, and I show love to all the fighters, man. We gotta support one another, even if there's a person that you want to fight. It's not necessarily good to tear them down, because we all need to build each other up, man. Make a strong community, and we can all grow. We grow together. We bond together. We grow together. We can make the sport stronger in our city, in our states, as well as everywhere else. So I got another partner, Justin. I can't pronounce his last name though, but I believe he's supposed to be making his pro debut this Saturday out at the Minnesota Convention Center.
Okay.
I'm not 100. I got to double check with him. I know some changes that happened to the card, but he's a southpaw. So me and him been getting a lot of rounds. So, and he was supposed to be fighting the southpaw as well this Saturday. So me and him putting in so many rounds, and that's why my preparation for this last fight was so perfect, because that was my first southpaw to fight with as well in the pros, letting him be a veteran. 30-something fights in the game. And when I got in that ring, it felt normal. I forgot he was a southpaw. I think that's the perfect preparation. I forgot he was a southpaw. I honestly, it's like, it didn't make a difference. I didn't realize it until I went back and watched the fight. And I'm like, oh, damn, he was southpaw. I forgot all about it, because at one point I'm like, okay. But it didn't make a difference. Southpaws are some of the weirdest things for a southpaw while you're in that ring. So it didn't make a difference. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Justin, and a lot of the we got a lot of kids in the amateur programs at Northside Boxing Club, and that's a wonderful, tremendous thing that we got going over. Well, that they have going over there, and I definitely support all the children over there, and the young teens that's putting in a lot of work, man. And it's amazing. It's amazing what's going on right now for Minnesota boxing, and I want to give a shout out to everybody who support. I want to give a shout out to you guys for supporting it, covering, taking your time out today. That's what we need. We need everybody to band together, everybody to communicate, and we got to lift the sport up, man. Definitely.
Oh man, you don't gotta thank us. Trash talk is
No.
nothing without the fighters, dude. Like, oh my God, we're on your time. So, man, thank you for doing the interview with us, man. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I
Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show.
No.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I loved everything that you just said. That was amazing. Yeah, I mean, growing the sport, helping the community get involved, and being the. I mean, I just want to be the ones to display the people already doing so good, already in the community that you should know. Just come here, watch them. We'll send them your way. You
Yeah.
guys, come on, hit that subscribe button. Trash Talk with Damien and TJ. Come on, y'all.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it's about because, it's not about, for us to get that, we definitely have to secure our market. We got to secure our states. And that's definitely big. And that's one thing I definitely, when I seen you guys, I'm like, I didn't get to make it out there after the fight, but I was like, I definitely had to reach out to you guys. Exactly. I had to reach
I'm
out to
glad
you
you
guys.
did, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
really
definitely.
glad you did because
Yeah,
hell yeah.
man. I definitely, I like I said, man, I'm all about showing some love, man.